Okay, boys and girls, so for this week's lesson, you're going to be learning about similar figures and scale factor. Now, for Monday, yesterday, you all covered some notes about similar figures, which we said similar figures have the same shape, but they have the different size. So they're similar in the shape, but their size is different. Now, similar figures are going to have corresponding sides. And by corresponding, I mean that you're matching the sides. Corresponding means that the sides are matching in position. Even though one shape might be smaller and the other one might be bigger, their sides correspond. And what we need to do is we need to match our corresponding sides. So AB is going to correspond to XY. And we are matching them in a specific order. We're going to try to go from left to right, because that's how we usually read, from left to right. So we're going to match them, and that's why we're going to color code them. So AB, XY. BC corresponds to YZ. AC corresponds to XZ. Okay, so notice how they don't look exactly the same, because obviously this is smaller and this is bigger, but they're corresponding because they match in the same position. Okay, they're matching in the same position in the shape. Now we say that corresponding sides are proportional. The word proportional comes from the word proportion. And when you write a proportion, think about it. We use multiplication and division. So it means that you multiply or divide by the same number. Okay? Now, corresponding angles, well, we're going to match the corresponding angles. So for instance, angle A corresponds to angle X. They're in the same position. Okay? Angle B corresponds to angle Y. And angle C corresponds to angle Z. Now, corresponding angles, the angles that match, A with X, B with Y, C with Z, they're going to be congruent. And what does congruent mean? It means that they're exactly the same. So if this angle measures 60 degrees, then angle X is going to measure 60 degrees. The angles are equal. They stay the same. Okay? Now, congruent, I just want you to see the difference. Similar, they look almost the same, but it's the same shape, different size. That's similar figures. Now, congruent means they're exactly the same. They're equal. They have the same shape and they have the same size. So everything exactly identical. Okay, but we're going to focus more on similar figures. Now, what you need to know about similar figures, if you go on to page 2, is that they're always going to give you two similar shapes, and they're going to ask you to find the measurement of a missing side. So for instance here, let's say XZ is going to be our missing side. So we're going to write it with a variable X. We don't know what that measures. So what we need to do is we need to get our corresponding sides. And we said earlier that corresponding means matching the pairs. Okay? And we're going to go from left to right. Okay, that's the direction that we're going to go from left to right. So we need to get our pair that has a 2 number. So that's how I like to see it. AB measures 6 and XY corresponds to it and it measures 2. So I have my first set of corresponding sides. Now I have AC corresponds to XZ. They match. Okay, they match. They're in the same position, but one's bigger, one's smaller. And well, BC, The one that's sliding down corresponds with YZ that's sliding down as well. But to find the missing side, we are going to need to set up our proportion. Okay? We need to set up a proportion. That's why we do our matching sides, our corresponding sides. So we're going to get 6 with 2. So you're going to go from left to right and draw an arrow so you can see what direction we're going. So 6 and then 2. And then we're going to go again from left to right, 24 with X. Okay, so that's the main idea for this week for us for today, for you to know how to set up the proportion with the corresponding sides. We need to get our pairs. 6 pairs up with 2, 24 pairs up with the unknown number that we're looking for. Now, once you have the proportion, it's simple. It's like how we've solved it all the time. We're going to cross multiply, and then we're going to divide. Okay, so 24 times 2 gives you 48. 48 divided by 6, that gives you 8. So the missing side measures 8. Okay, the missing side that we were looking for measures 8. Okay, you could have looked for a shortcut. 6 times 4 gives me 24. So 2 times 4 gives me 8. Okay, so that's how we're going to go with the corresponding sides. We need to make sure we match them from left to right. Okay, you can go right to left, but you need to make sure you always follow the same order. So that's why we read from left to right. So let's match from left to right. Now go to page 3 so I can go over a little bit more of examples. So to find the missing side here, again, to find the missing side, X, that's the one that they're looking for. So X, you need to make sure you match your sides, and then you set up your proportion. Okay, so we need to make sure we match our sides and we write our proportion. So now, I know that the bottom side here corresponds to the bottom one over here. Okay, they're in the same position, right? And then my other pair is 12 with 3. So make sure you highlight your corresponding sides, your matching sides. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to write our proportion. 12 matches with 3. And remember that we're going to go from left to the right side. Okay, because they're side by side. Left to right. So I'm going to write 12 with 3. And then I'm going to write 20 with the X. So I'm going to put the left and then the right. Left and then the right. Okay. Once you have your proportion, then if there's no shortcut, like 12 times what gives you 20, then you just solve it like we normally do. 20 times 3 divided by 12. So 20 times 3, 60. 60 divided by 12 gives you 5. So the missing side that we were looking for, X equals to 5. That's the missing side that we were looking for. X here measures 5. Okay? So the key is going to be to make sure you match your corresponding sides. Let's look at another example. Now, when they give you a bunch of numbers, look at the one that they're asking that they're looking for and look for a complete pair. So they're looking for AD. Okay, they're looking for AD. So AD is the one right here. So I'm going to put a little X as the one I'm looking for. AD matches with the bottom one, WC, which is a 60. Now, AB has nothing, BC has nothing, but CD 24 matches with YZ. And remember that we're matching from left to right. So 24 matches with 32 and X matches with 60. So 24 with 32, 24 with 32, and then X with 60. Okay? And then again, you're going to have to cross multiply 24 times 60 and then divide it by 32. 24 times 60, 1,440, and then divide it by 32, which gives you 45. So the missing side that we were looking for, x equals 45. And x, remember, it's just to label the missing side because we don't know how much it measured. So AD measured 45. That's what they were looking for. Okay, so once again, for finding the missing side, we need to make sure you match your corresponding sides, boys and girls. You can rewind the video and look back at the examples, but the key, like I said, is with your matching the corresponding sides from one shape on the left to the right. All right?